Good evening, and thank you for tuning into this Four in Your Corner special report, Calm Before the Storm. I'm Jim Sion. Every hurricane season, we're dedicated to keeping you informed before, during, and after the storm. It's our hope that you plan ahead in the event of a hurricane threatening Southwest Florida. Coming up in the next half hour, we're showcasing our new Viper technology, which will better help us pinpoint where a storm is and where it's headed next. We'll also explain how to make a personalized plan just for your family. And don't forget the pets. We'll show you what you need to bring with you if you're forced to evacuate with your pet. Your smartphone could very well come in handy if the power goes out. Learn the most important apps you should download before a storm hits. And we're taking a trip to Miami, where researchers are using a wall of wind to keep your home safe. Warm waters in the tropical Atlantic and the unlikeliness of an El Nino development this year is likely going to make for an active hurricane season in 2013. Dr. William Gray is predicting 18 named storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. That is much higher than the average of 12 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 2 major hurricanes. Now, NOAA is also calling for a very active pattern. Their predictions are anywhere from 12 to 18 named storms, 6 to 10 hurricanes, and 3 to 6 major hurricanes. Now keep in mind these are just predictions, but we still need to be prepared because it only takes one storm to make an impact. Now this year we had the chance to attend the National Hurricane Conference in New Orleans, where emergency managers and first responders get together and talk about everything from preparedness to forecasting advancements. This year it was all about heeding warnings. Experts say no matter how many storms are forecasted to develop this season, it only takes one to devastate your home, your community, your family. They say now is the time to find out if you live in an evacuation zone. Know how to get out in case of emergency, and know that if the time comes, where you're going to go to ride out that storm safely. The bottom line, planning now can mean the difference in saving lives later. During hurricane season, storms can approach from the Caribbean, the Atlantic, and even right off our coastline in the Gulf of Mexico, which is why we use the power of 4 Doppler radars to track the tropics. Storm Patrol meteorologist Jamie Cagle explains.
We're going to turn our attention now to the weather technology we have right here in the Fox 4 Storm Patrol Weather Center. The big performer is our Viper weather system, which provides us with a tremendous amount of real-time and forecast data, and that helps us to monitor and predict every tropical event.
First and foremost, we use the power of 4 radars that are constantly scanning the skies of Southwest Florida. In forecast mode, we can display the National Hurricane Center's forecast track as well as the spaghetti models that many of you are familiar with. The National Hurricane Center's forecast takes into consideration a number of atmospheric models and usually contains smaller errors than those of the individual models themselves. It also shows the forecasted path for a particular system. During Hurricane Charlie in August of 2004, our forecast model within the Viper system accurately predicted rainfall rates, accumulation, and storm movement. When we are monitoring the situation during a tropical system, we have a lot of things happening and a lot of information to digest. Using the Viper radar, we can determine how fast the rain is falling, giving us an idea of what areas may experience flooding or where flooding may become a problem. We can also find out which areas are experiencing the heaviest rainfall and take a look into the future using our future scan. Our Viper system even allows us to monitor buoy data from around the US and the Caribbean. That data includes wind speed, wave height, and water temperature. This gives us a snapshot of what is happening at a particular location along the US coastline or around the Caribbean. We can also take a look at sea surface temperatures and wave heights on a larger scale, giving us that same snapshot of the big picture. We use our Viper system on a daily basis, but its power is most noticeable when it comes to dangerous tropical storms and hurricanes. It gives us the tools to keep you informed before and during the storm. Jamie Cagle, Fox 4 in your corner.
A huge part in helping to predict storms are hurricane hunters. These planes actually fly into hurricanes to collect valuable data that we can then pass along to you. And as 4 in Your Corner meteorologist Michelle Cunningham shows you, even before the hurricane season begins, these hunters have already taken flight.
Even without a storm in sight, hurricane hunters go on test missions. Here you can see one of their recent flights. It's displayed right here on our Storm Patrol Viper radar. You can see the actual movement of a practice flight. This one happened over Louisiana. We can click on these red dots and get immediate information from the computers on board the aircraft. Forecasters on board drop what are called dropsondes right into the hurricane to record things like sea level pressure, surface wind speed, maximum temperatures in the eye of the storm, among other important information. The readings help to determine the intensity of the storm. Now we can bring this information to you as it's happening. Another way Fox 4 is working to keep you informed this hurricane season.
When a hurricane or tropical storm decides to affect Southwest Florida, one of the biggest questions we have regards storm surge. How much water is going to be moving into Southwest Florida? We used to have those old flooding maps. We showed them to you for the last 10 to 15 to even 20 years, showing Category 1, Category 2, Category 3. That's all changed this year. Go to floridadisaster.org and you're going to see this map here. Now it's all about the zones and knowing your zone. Zones anywhere from A to E. Zone A being the coastal locations that would flood in a tropical storm or Category 1 hurricane, going to E, which are the zones that are farther inland. You have to know your own zone, and that's why floridadisaster.org is such a great site, because you can use this interactive map that you're looking at right here. They also have another feature that's spectacular. You just type in your address and it tells you exactly what zone you're in, telling you exactly when you would need to evacuate in case of a hurricane. In the event of a hurricane, you'll want to make sure you have essential items with you at all times in case you do need to evacuate. You're going to want at least 1 gallon of water per person per day, enough non-perishable food to last you and your family for several days, a battery-operated TV or radio, extra batteries, flashlights, manual can opener, disposable eating utensils also, waterproof matches, charcoal and lighter fluid, as well as toiletries, first aid kit, prescription and baby supplies, and valuable documents in a waterproof container, and of course, cash. If you experience a hurricane, you can communicate with your family even if the phones are down by planning ahead of time. The Red Cross is offering online registrations into its Safe and Well program. It allows you to list your family as safe and well. So when relatives can't get a hold of you, they can check online or a hotline to see if you've registered. For more information on this program, head to our website, fox4now.com, and click on the big red 4. Now, if you lose power during your storm, you can still get hurricane information from the Fox 4 team by turning to one of our Clear Channel radio station partners. The stations include 95.3 The River, Cat Country 107.1, 105.5 The Beat, and Y100. And a reminder, when you're away from your TV, you can always hear the Storm Patrol forecast on these stations every weekday. Preparing your pets is just as important as preparing your family. The one thing you don't want to forget this hurricane season coming up. Feeling nature's fury like never before, we're taking you inside the wall of wind to see how new research is helping make sure your home is safe during a storm. But first, if the power goes out, your only source of electricity could come from a generator. But with so many of them on the market, how do you know which one is good for you and your family? We're breaking it down for you next. You can expect no air conditioning, no refrigeration, and no power after a storm, and sometimes it can go on for days. If you're considering buying a generator this hurricane season, it's important to determine the power that you're going to need to get by, or how much more power that you're going to need to make things even a bit more comfortable. ConsumerReports.org has a new online calculator that can help determine what watt generator will meet your needs. You simply plug in appliances or devices you wish to use, keeping in mind that if the electricity is out, you probably won't be running too many things at once, and it tallies the wattage necessary. Now is the time to get out that insurance plan and take a moment to review your coverage. Know that a hurricane deductible is separate from your regular deductible. Hurricane deductible can be 1 to 5% of your home's value, meaning if your home is valued at $300,000, you could pay $15,000 out of pocket. Do you have windstorm coverage, a flood policy? These are questions to ask your insurance agent now. Experts suggest sending a copy of your policy to a friend or relative out of state for safekeeping. When the power is out here after a storm, they can begin contacting your insurance company and processing your claim immediately. Make an inventory of your home. Take pictures of your possessions and document the value. You can upload the pictures for safe storage to an online site that you would order prints from. Some insurance companies have online sites to help create your inventory for free. For a list of what you might need, log on to our website at fox4now.com and click on the big red 4. If you rent a home, the house will be covered in the event of a storm by the owner's insurance policy, but beware, this will not cover any of your possessions inside the home. Experts say renters need to obtain their own insurance policy to protect the contents of their home. These are relatively inexpensive. Also, renters should read the rental agreement thoroughly. It may state that you're responsible for putting shutters up or stormproofing the home in the event of severe weather. Getting up close and personal with a hurricane is something few people get to do, but in Miami, people do it several times a week. We're stepping into the wall of wind to see how new research is being used to keep you safe. But first, as you prepare your family for hurricane season, don't forget about your pets. What you need to do before a storm hits, next. One of the most common questions we get every hurricane season is what to do with your pets if a storm is headed your way. Storm Patrol meteorologist Jamie Cagle is asking the experts to make sure you and your family are prepared.
As animal lovers, we know that they're more than just pets. They're members of the family, but they have special needs, especially when it comes to preparing for hurricane season. So we came down to Lee County Domestic Animal Services to find out what we need to do to make sure they're ready for the storm.
The first thing pet owners should do is make sure their pets are up to date on vaccinations because immunity is not immediate.
In addition to getting their shots, you'll have to include them in your emergency plan.
Your first plan should be to take your pets with you when you evacuate.
But you must remember that's not always an option if you have to go to a shelter.
Most shelters will not accept animals. The county will designate at least one shelter as a pet-friendly shelter, and they'll let you know what shelter that's going to be once the hurricane's approaching because it'll depend on the direction.
Here's what you need to bring to the pet-friendly shelter: basic food, water, medications, toys, and blankets for comfort. You will also want to make sure you have all of their shot records, their license if you're traveling, and identification if they get loose. Your pet will be kenneled, but remember they'll still be around a lot of other cats and dogs.
No breed of dog or cat is off limits.
In a worst-case scenario, if your pet gets away from you during or after the storm, your local domestic animal services office is there to help.
If it's here, of course you come to the shelter and see if it's here and fill out a missing pet report, but we put every animal that we find on our website within an hour.
And the best way to make sure you're reunited is to invest in microchipping your pet.
Microchips are a great thing because the microchip can't come off, it can't be lost or stolen, so your pet's going to have permanent identification if it's lost in the storm.
Jamie Cagle, Fox 4 in your corner.
It doesn't have to cost a lot to get your pet microchipped. It's just $15 at Lee County Animal Services on the first Friday of the month. You can find out more about what you need to do to protect your pet when you log on to the Big Red 4, fox4now.com. If you're a regular viewer of Fox 4 News, then you probably have heard of the phrase Storm Patrol. It's our way of covering the weather in every part of Southwest Florida. But the Storm Patrol depends upon teamwork. And as Patrick Nolan shows us, we want you to be a big part of the team.
I'm Patrick Nolan on the western edge of the seawall with the story of people who are in the communities that don't have a seawall to protect them down there. I'll have their story. For years, TV guys like myself have covered severe weather from the center of the action. I'm standing at what used to be the waterline, but as you can see, the ocean swelled in a hurry, the flooding continuing all the way toward the middle part of the island. These days, though, 4 in Your Corner counts on you just as much as our reporters to show everyone what the weather's doing in Southwest Florida. That's what makes you a member of the 4 in Your Corner Storm Patrol. It spans from Marco Island to San Carlos Park, Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Charlotte County, and beyond. Within moments, we can show you what the weather is doing and if it's headed your way. 4 in Your Corner reporters and photographers are always on the lookout, constantly providing updated video of weather conditions throughout the region. But you're the most important piece of the puzzle. A 4 in Your Corner Storm Patrol member, for example, sent us this smartphone video of flooding, allowing us to show you what you may be in for as you hit the roads. Another Storm Patrol member helping us tell the story of this brush fire that burned through North Fort Myers. And yet another member stepping up to share these images of heavy rain in Fort Myers. It doesn't always have to be severe weather. We appreciate this and other images of paradise you send us too. So whether it's flooding, storm damage, or another sweet sunset in Southwest Florida, pull out your phone and snap a pic or record some video and send to Storm Patrol at fox4now.com so we can share the images and mention your name on the news.
Here's that address one more time. Email your images through Storm Patrol and fox4now.com. Or if you prefer, just post your stuff on our Facebook page, facebook.com/fox4now. Your cell phone could be a lifeline in a storm, and there are several apps that can help you out in the event that the power actually goes out. A flashlight app is always good to have. There are dozens to choose from. Most of them are free. Hurricane by the American Red Cross is another great app. It monitors conditions, has tips to help you prepare your family, and will locate shelters if you need to evacuate. The IMAP weather radio could be a crucial source of information in a disaster. If you don't have a NOAA weather radio in your emergency kit, this can actually double as one. Waking your phone up in case of an emergency. It costs just $10, and of course you can always get information on hurricanes on our app. Just search WFTX TV in the App Store or the Android Market.
This hurricane research facility can better determine how you can protect your home. We'll have that story for you coming up next.
Just across the state, Miami, they experience hurricanes several times a week. These hurricanes are man-made at Florida International University's Wall of Wind Hurricane Research Facility. Meteorologist Michelle Cunningham visited the facility to find out how these hurricanes are simulated in an effort to keep you safer and your insurance premiums lower.
Each of these monstrous fans weighs 15,000 pounds, heavier than 2.5 Chevy Suburbans. When all 12 are turned on together, they create enough energy to power 2,000 single-family homes.
And what you see here is the Wall of Wind has the capability to go to Category 5 wind speed. No other research university facility in the world can do what we're doing here.
Wind speeds of 157 miles per hour are generated while the green nozzles release water, so water infiltration and damage can be tested as well. This facility helps to improve hurricane safety through testing structures like these roofs and test homes to see what will survive a hurricane and what will not. Each test is closely evaluated by a team of experts. Information gathered during these tests is used to develop damage prediction models. These are used to improve building codes and help insurance companies determine your risks and your rates.
So right now, what can you do to evaluate your windows, your doors, your garage door, your rooftop? How can you make it stronger so then you don't have to evacuate an I-75? It could be a safer place.
With every test, we learn more and more about how these storms affect your home. In fact, design changes since Hurricane Andrew have already made a difference. Test results from the Wall of Wind were even applied to Florida's 2012 building code.
But living in paradise comes with it the responsibility and the accountability. That's on us to not only prepare our family, but to prepare our home.
Like Solna says, there are things you can do now before the first storm is being tracked to better prepare your home for the wind and water that comes along with these tropical systems. In Miami, meteorologist Michelle Cunningham, Fox 4 in your corner.
And new this hurricane season here at Fox 4, we want you to check out our interactive radar. Just head to fox4now.com and click on the weather tab. While using it, you can actually zoom in and see street level mapping of where storms are in your neighborhood. You can also use the Futurecast feature to see where those storms are headed. Again, it's at fox4now.com. Just click on the weather tab. Thank you so much for tuning in to this 4 in Your Corner special report, Calm Before the Storm. We hope that after watching this, you and your family are better prepared for the upcoming hurricane season. Have a great night, and for even more information, log on to the Big Red 4, fox4now.com.